What's up, everybody? PJ Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs, aka Oblong Don, aka Braun Fitness, aka Lord Braun. Everyone hates that one. And this is Project Freak volume number, I think, like 7. And I actually have Dane here with me today.
What's going on, guys?
Have not decided yet if I'm going to call him Dane, Austin, or the Freak still. The Freak was, I had to hide his identity, and I was concerned that some people may have figured out who he was, because he was in like the background of a couple of Growmaster Fridays, and I don't want to ruin my whole like plans for this video series that has been very popular. Now, we don't have to worry about that stuff anymore, and we can just be normal, which was more of a pain in the ass than you guys would think. You know, we'd have to edit out scenes where we're like, oh crap, we could see his face and stuff like that. Then there was, of course, the YouTubers got very bored of not seeing his face either. Like, okay, we get it, he's a mystery. But I expect that from YouTube. So, we showed you every body part. By the time this video comes out, you will have seen him train with Cody Montgomery. Very, very good young guns, going hard in the gym for shoulders. And everybody's been asking me, what does the Freak eat? What does he eat? We want to know what he eats. So, today's video is going to be about food, and it's a perfect time to do it because rather than texting all this to him last night, I was going to make some changes because I'm trying to really bulk him up now. I figured let's just do it in person so everybody can see for themselves, and as long as we don't get kicked out, we're going to go to the grocery store, Publix, and show you guys how to achieve this kind of diet structure without going broke. And I might even do a whole separate video or video series on eating within means of finances, because I did a video one time, a long time ago, and I know most of you guys know the video, where I took another gentleman to the grocery store because he had said he couldn't stay on his diet because it was too expensive to eat clean. So we're going to teach you guys how to eat on a budget, I think, as well. But this one is, I want you to see what he eats to fuel this massive body and what he's going to have to eat, because you guys see what he looks like now, but he needs to keep getting bigger. So this next phase of the diet is going to be focused on utilizing glycolog the most. I mean, he uses other Blackstone Labs products too, and really getting the carbs high. So before I go into what he's been eating, your diet now, I know we have you cheating pretty often.
Yeah.
So you're cheating like what, every day?
Every day, maybe twice a day.
Yeah, so I don't care about him eating because his metabolism is so fast. Like if he's like, hey, I'm gonna go out and pig out, then I want him to. Because eating clean, he was really lean, but I don't know that you could get that amount of calories in when your metabolism is that fast. Certain people are like that. I mean, you guys have probably seen videos of Ronnie Coleman training for the Olympia 2 weeks out, eating barbecue chicken and cornbread and stuff. And certain people, they just can eat like machines and their body just keeps burning it. He is that kind of guy. So for him to really, really get big, he's gonna have to take in massive quantities of food. Now, I do think as he gets older, his metabolism will probably slow down a little bit, but he's most likely going to be somebody that's gotta really eat to grow. And there's challenges that come with that, because you probably get to the point, I know I did when I was younger, because I had a faster metabolism. Now I don't mind eating less because I want to be skinny now. But when I was young, I had to eat so much that it made me like miserable. Like
no,
I wanted.
I used to eat twice a day, literally. I'd eat breakfast and then I'd go to work or whatever. When I was playing football, I'd go to football practice all day long. I'd come home, I'd eat a meal, and then I'd go to bed, and that's all I ate, and I was fine with that. That's what I did my whole life until bodybuilding. And
that's part of the reason that some of you guys, I know how you guys are going to be like, he's not that big. But you have to take into consideration his age. He's very, very, very young. And when he told me what he was eating to look like that, the maturity, the density that he has, I thought he like left some stuff out. I'm like, where's the rest? And he's like, no, that's all I really eat. And even Sammy, who is, I don't know, what is Sammy when he's his heaviest? 200 pounds?
Yeah, 200 was, I think 200 was.
So let's say Sandy is a 200-pound bodybuilder, was basically saying he eats like twice as much as Dane when he's trying to get big. And that is definitely not a good thing, because, you know, Dane is a lean 260 pounds. So he's gonna have to walk around probably at 300 pounds eventually when he's at his biggest and best. You know, that's just, you know, guys like Dennis Wolf that have height like Dane has, that's how big they are. And it's not a race to 300. As Ed Connors would say, there's no magic in 300 unless you're a bowler. All my Ed Connors people will know that. So here's what he's eating now, guys, and I want you to just take this all in, because it's a little bit unorthodox. For breakfast, 4 whole eggs, 2 packets of grits, and then he actually has a shake with it, just a scoop of isolation, and anywhere from 4 to 6 tablespoons of peanut butter. So this is super high fat. Part of the reason that we're doing this is because at this phase of the diet, I wanted him to be able to just get the calories in. And when you take somebody who hasn't been eating that much and you're like, go eat 2 baked potatoes and go eat 2 pounds of pasta, it becomes torturous to them. Whereas you can easily, if you take a big scoop of peanut butter out, people think, oh, this is a tablespoon. No, it's not. You're being fat. You're getting 2, sometimes 3 tablespoons if you do a heaping. Yeah. Like if you take an actual real tablespoon measuring of how little it is, you cry. All right, so all you guys that are eating tablespoons of peanut butter, you know you're eating more. So this is a really, really high fat meal. So each egg has about, depending on the size of the egg, is gonna have anywhere from 4 to 7 grams of fat, whether it's like a medium egg to a jumbo egg, right? So we're gonna say for math purposes, just to make it easy, that there's 5 grams of fat in those 4 eggs, so there's 20 grams of fat right there. All right, now with the peanut butter, a typical serving of peanut butter is 2 tablespoons, is about 18 grams of fat. So let's just make that 20 again. So he could be getting 60 to even 80 grams of fat at that meal. And some of you guys are gonna be like, oh my God, that's so much. But here's the deal. Fat is twice as dense as anything else. So if you're taking in 80 grams of fat, you have to multiply that times 9. That's your calories taken in from the fat. I promise you, you try to do that with oats, or even the grits that he's eating, you're gonna be sitting there with a monstrous bowl that never gets consumed. So the idea of this is to get the calories in. And for all those people that wanna support IIFYM and stuff like that, and you know, eating for your macros, somebody like him, his macros are so high for his requirements, then he's gonna have to do these dense fats. That's why I did it like this. Second meal, he eats 7 ounces of chicken and he makes them into these wraps. He puts about 2 ounces of cheese with them. He eats them on flour wraps. Again, a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, he's not eating whole wheat. Again, look at how lean he is, guys. This is where I'm gonna, with somebody like him, I'm gonna expose a lot of like these theories and myths that people have on bodybuilding and the way the bodybuilders eat. Most of these guys, and this is not taking away from anyone because they're all great bodybuilders and they're legends, many of them already. Many of them will be legends. Phil Heath is gonna retire as a legend. These guys have different genetics than everybody else. I didn't have genetics that were that good. I did have better than average genetics. I could eat, when I was at my biggest, I could eat McDonald's or Wendy's every day and I still had abs. Because I was training hard, my body was burning it off. A lot of people would do that and then they would get a belly. But you know, I didn't have what it takes to put a beautiful and also massive physique together on stage. And as I pushed my steroid protocol harder, I realized, you know what? I'm just not as good as some of these guys. That is what it is, and that's why I retired. Now he, at his age, is light years ahead of people that are already in their 30s and been doing this forever. So what I want to do, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling on, is I want to try as many different things with him now and get rid of all that trial and error of years. People take years to figure things out. We want to figure this out fast. I want him to walk into the show, dominate the show, be the best that he can be, and then start moving up to the next levels, because I believe that where he's at now, when I'm done with him, I believe that it would almost be unfair to people at regional shows. And as long as he sticks to the protocol, I know that this will come to fruition. So I want him to be with guys on his level, which are the guys that are going to be up in the IFBB. Is he ready to compete with them yet? Nope, definitely not. But I do believe he has the tools. The freak factor of him is not just that he's a big guy or that he's young. The freak factor is, for me, is based on his potential. Because when I look at him now, we're going to do a video where I'm very hard on him. And I'm going to critique the things that he needs to bring up the most. Because I haven't done that yet. He knows what they are. We've talked about it off camera. But then you guys are going to see how we attack all that stuff. And you also see the improvements. And when he improves all those spots, that's when he's going to be ready to be part of the best in the world. So, rounding out the diet, meal 3 is 7 ounces of chicken, and he eats a pack of Jasmine Rice, the Uncle Ben's microwavable one. I'm a big microwavable rice guy. It's very easy. You do not have to have a rice cooker and sit and cook your rice all day, especially when you're off season like this and you're just getting calories in. One of those, if you eat the whole thing, depending on which one, because they have basmati, they have jasmine, they got like 4 cheese, they got garlic. We'll show you all that stuff at the grocery store. They have anywhere from like 80 to 100 grams of carbs in that little pack. Meal 4, this is a pre-workout meal. This is something that I push hard on all my guys, and I was doing it before I even had Blackstone Labs, just not with the cool name Formula 19, is I have them do 4 scoops of Formula 19, which is 100 grams of carbs, 1 scoop of isolation. I don't feel that it's necessary to have an excess of protein before you work out. And that is taken pretty much on his way to the gym or right before he trains. And then post-workout does the same thing, except it's 2 scoops of protein. This is where you need more protein for recovery. And he adds in 5 grams of creatine. Meal 6, which is later in the evening, which will be like a dinner time meal. So you work out at what time?
Go to the gym at like 7:30.
At night?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is...
I get off work at like 5:30, and then I usually fall asleep on my recliner for an hour.
Well, it's good that you're getting your meals in still. So another thing, guys, when you factor out your pre and post workouts, you also have to factor out what time you're training. I train fasted in the morning. A lot of people will not want or be able to do that. Can I lift as much in the morning? No. Do I get as good as pumps? Nope, I definitely don't. Like on the weekend, I'll get a couple meals and go train. It's dramatically different. However, I'm not trying to break any records or get on stage anymore. Just want to be healthy, look as good as I can. So I'm all about efficiency. If you can get meals in you before you train and you can do this pre-workout shake that I have him doing and maximize all this stuff, your body will thank you for it because you have the nutrient buildup and you have the glycogen loaded that you're primed for success. That's like when you're a triathlete or running a marathon, you know, the night before you slammed a bunch of calories from pasta or whatever you want to eat. I mean, even when I was playing football when I was young, we used to have like a pasta night before the games.
They used to make us, I mean, they never knew what they were talking about, at least in high school football. They used to feed us like 2 pounds of pasta for a pregame meal. 45 minutes before you go out on the field, I'm like, this isn't even going to be digested for like 3 hours. I would throw up before all my
Did they do anything for you guys at halftime?
Yeah, we had like oranges.
Oranges! Yes, I was just going to say that. So at halftime, so you had pasta before the game. And this is, I'm 12, 13 years older. So I'm a good 13 years older than him, but obviously this science has stuck around. At halftime was orange time, so they'd come out with the bags of sliced up oranges, and that's when you got your orange in. Another hilarious, I mean, obviously that sugar gets in you pretty fast. I'm sure that little vitamin C blast was probably good too. My coaches in the summertime, during Hell Week, you only allowed to have like a sip of the hose, the garden hose water, which is so bad. The one thing that they should be giving you guys is water. But for the people that were cramping, like forget about Gatorade or any of that stuff, they had jars of pickle juice. Oh my God. And that was something that I used to do, is drink pickle juice. Maybe they just couldn't afford the Gatorade or Pedialyte. But meal timing, when you're doing pre-workouts and post-workouts, very, very important. If you're just eating the same thing every day, if you're dieting, if you're on a ketogenic diet, doesn't matter. People will say, well, you know, what if I train at 6 in the morning on Fridays, but on Sundays I want to train at 6 in the afternoon? If you're on a ketogenic diet and the meals are the same every day, it truly does not matter. So we're focused specifically on him. This is how he can grow. Can other people adapt this? If you feel you fall into this, absolutely. Can you scale it around? Yes, I'm happy to help you. If you guys reach out to me, come to my Q&A, my Ask PJ, and I can scale it for you. But this is designed specifically for him and him only. At night, he has a steak, again with the rice, and then before bed, I make anybody that I'm working with take in a meal before bed, because let's say you sleep 5 hours, let's say you sleep 8 hours, God bless you if you can. That's a whole chunk of time fasted that you're not giving your body anything. And when you're trying to grow like he is, you need to be giving that body food at all times. So before bed, I have him do a couple scoops of isolation, and a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, you should do casein or this and that. You don't need to. If you're adding in the fats that I have him add in, or if you're adding in fiber, things are going to slow absorption rates down. To me, it doesn't make sense to take in a slow digesting protein just for the sake of it being slower, because it's inferior. It's an inferior source of protein. So take in the best protein that you can and add things to it to throw your digestion off. I'm sure you guys have noticed that, let's say you're on a ketogenic diet, right? And you are gonna eat a burger patty. You eat that burger patty all the time, probably won't feel anything from it. Add a bun to that patty and tell me what happens when you do it. Fucking totally changes everything, excuse my language. You get tired, you sweat a little bit, you get an insulin response. So at night, I want him to just go right to bed. So he's gonna slam this isolation and the peanut butter. I have him doing, again, 3 servings. So it's anywhere from 4 to 6 tablespoons of peanut butter, and then he literally goes to bed. Can you add in anesthetized to that? Yes. Do you have to do that every night? No. Can you add in sugar-free Metamucil? Absolutely. Can you add in your own fiber supplement? There are other fiber supplements out there. Shout out to Dave Palumbo and his Fiberlize. Although I do not use Species supplements when I was with Species, that was a very popular product for people that couldn't poop. You will absolutely poop if you take Fiberlize. And I don't get anything out of that. He's out there doing stuff for Redcon, but I don't need plugs like that. We're already more than successful enough. So there's my little dig. So from here, what I'm going to do now is, so he is growing, but I'm not disappointed. I'm just not pleased, and I realize that he needs to, like, sadly for him, force feed himself. So today, what we're going to do is really bump these carbs up, pull some of the fats back. And I'm going to have him start really megadosing Glycolog. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions on that. But I'm going to have him taking Glycolog like 4 times a day. And of course, with that pre and post workout meal, I wanted to do this first, see how he would respond. He did grow a lot. I knew he was going to grow just because he wasn't eating a lot before. Now, we're going to really, really pump it up. So
almost 40 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. So he's put on a lot, and he's got lots of room on that frame to grow, especially with how lean he is. So I don't mind you leaving what you're doing with the protein the same. How much, like, what's an easy to get in carb for you in the morning? Like, are you cool with grits? Do you want to mix it up?
I can do grits. Sometimes I have I have a granola cereal that I have. It's like healthy, but it's like granola, but it's almost 100 carbs.
That would be much better.
I have that often too.
Are you somebody that needs to eat like breakfast food at breakfast?
No, not really.
I'm just saying,
never like eating food.
I know you don't. So I'm just saying to try to maximize that meal of what you can get at that meal. If you did, like, let's say you took those eggs and you threw them on top of a package of that rice, that's like twice as much carbs as you're getting. For sure.
No, I can do that.
Also, even if you took 2 of the eggs with cheese and put them inside those wraps, you're gonna get way more carbs there. Just the 2 packets of grits. If I keep it grits, you're gonna have to do like 4 packets of grits.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting, like 40 carbs from the grits, and then I get another 24 carbs from the peanut butter. And then I also usually have, like, if I have the grits and I don't have the cereal, which gives me 100 carbs, the grits is 40, the peanut butter gives me like 24, and then I have 30 from orange juice.
That's good. So you mean you're getting a variety of carbs, and still, I'd rather you get in some more
like complex
dense carbs, because the sugar and the peanut butter, the carbs from the peanut butter are going to be somewhat negligible against your insulin levels anyway.
So rather rice.
The cereal you can do. I mean, I'll even leave options for you. Is just, let's put it like this. I'm going to give you a number, 100 grams.
Yeah, okay.
So 100 grams at meal 1, and you can have your variety of. Do you ever do Ezekiel?
No, but I've had that before.
So it may fill you up more. That's the issue. But Ezekiel makes cereals. Kashi is another great cereal that you can. Cutler used to eat the Ezekiel and the Kashi cereal in his videos. That's where I first found out about it many years ago. This is like in the early 2000s. He would eat it dry. You can eat it with milk, or if you want to be very calorie conscious.
Dry?
Yeah. Oh my God. If you want to be very conscious of your calories, guys, almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, or cashew milk can't go wrong. You're getting 30 calories per serving. And that's in like an 8-ounce serving. If you want to have cereal, you want to have stuff like that in the morning and keep bulking. If you are not somebody that has any issues with dairy at all, freaking have whole milk if you want.
I've been having whole milk, but it's lactose-free whole milk.
The name of the game now is calories.
I know, that's why I ended up getting that.
And I'm okay with that. Okay. So I just like we're gonna push these. So I also want, this is gonna be a Glycolog meal.
Okay.
All right. So second meal, where you're doing the 7 ounces of chicken, the flour tortillas. You can keep that meal as it is. Do you think that you could eat like a banana or something with it, or an apple?
Yeah, I could eat something else with it.
So let's just add
fruit in.
Add a fruit here.
Some more carbs.
Yep. And it's stuff that's easy to get in, and it's good for you too. The phytonutrients in fruits, it's hard to compete with stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Add in 1 fruit. And again, this is not any mind-blowing thing here, guys. An apple is about 80 calories, so it's not going to make or break him, but it'll be just some extra benefit, and it'll top off that meal a little bit more, where I don't think it'll bother his stomach, because you don't want him being miserable when he's eating. Then the meals with the Jasmine Rice, I'm fine with 3 being the way it is. I say we leave that alone.
Okay.
And the pre-workout, I say we leave that alone too. The post-workout, the main thing that I think that you should change there is, and this is going to probably seem like so minuscule again, but you'd be surprised when a little change like this can do, is I just think that maybe we should bump the creatine from 5 to 10.
Okay.
Just for this next phase. See how you do with that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing that much Formula 19, guys, he's getting a shitload of glutamine, and he's getting a shitload of leucine too. So you don't need to add any of that stuff in if you're using my Formula 19. In fact, if you're doing 4 scoops of Formula 19, you're getting 10 grams of leucine. And I think, geez, is it 40 grams, I guess? Because Formula 19, each scoop, I believe, has 10 grams of glutamine.
Of glutamine?
I think so.
It may be 5.
So I'll have to look. I designed that product so long ago. I know the dosing is high. So you're getting either 10, I think it's 5. So if you're doing, I think if you're doing 2 scoops of Formula 19, you must be getting 10 grams of glutamine is the way that it's designed. So you're getting 20 grams of glutamine, which is plenty. If you want to add in extra glutamine, guys, I was always a big glutamine advocate. Jay Cutler. I say Jay Cutler a lot because I feel like Jay Cutler is the true. A lot of people give Branch Warren this title, but I feel like Jay Cutler.
10 grams, yeah.
Okay, that's So he's getting 20 grams, which is plenty. I feel like Jay Cutler is the true, like, blue collar bodybuilder, and I don't mean it by like, oh, he works construction and now he's a bodybuilder. I mean that did Jay have amazing genetics? Yes, absolutely. But Jay, I feel, had the best combination of intelligence, work ethic, genetics, all the things that go together. And I think that he may not get as much credit for it, but he was a true thinking man's bodybuilder. And Jay knows why he did everything. Perhaps when he was training, the credit went to the coaches. But Jay knows exactly what he's doing and why, and I've shared enough conversations with him where, perhaps I don't get that kind of credit either, nor do I need it. We can analyze the situation, and it's not a big deal. Whereas a lot of people, they can't do anything without a coach. And so, to me, when I cite Jay Cutler, is I feel like you guys should all look to certain people like that. As a means for inspiration, and this is not meant as a dig, but you should not look at anything that Ronnie Coleman does and be like, I need to go do that, because most likely you're going to end up in the hospital. And Ronnie Coleman had superhero different genetics. Now it's sad where Ronnie Coleman is now, because he's destroyed every single thing on his body, and then people will say like, it'll be a picture of him like biking before a surgery. And they'll be like, oh, look at Ronnie, he's still looking great. Like, no, he doesn't. That's sad. Like, that is heartbreaking to me. He's replaced half of his body now, and he's not even 60 years old. I mean, he is more beat up than most grandpas will ever be. And you have to wonder how many surgeries can his body take? What else is going to go? When you have that many surgeries, then it just becomes you have this surgery, and now this is going to go next. Like, it's not like you just fix it all and then you're good. I've seen this happen to lots of people that I know, especially powerlifters that get their hips replaced, and then they have spinal issues and stenosis and things like that, just one thing after another. So I look at somebody like Jay, who looks younger now than when he was competing, still looks amazing when he takes his shirt off, feels great. Did he still train hard? Yes, he freaking did. But he trained smart, and there was a lot of data analysis that went into all his plans. And I used to get made fun of by people that were like, oh, you go to so many massages and this and that. And I'm like, listen, I know what I'm doing to my body, and I'm just trying to protect it for down the road. So I'm trying to instill all that into Dane, and you guys are going to see with more videos the more we go on. Part of the appeal that he had to me is, although his genetics are better than mine, he reminded me of myself in many ways, a lot so as a person. He's a very funny guy, he's humble, he's a damn hard worker, and I would like to see the things that I couldn't accomplish, have him accomplish, because that would mean a lot for me, and I know that it would mean a lot for him, and I find that at this point it would be just as enjoyable for me. I don't ever think like, man, I wish I did this in bodybuilding. It just wasn't, it wasn't in the cards for me. And sometimes when I go to shows, maybe for a half a second, I'll be like, it'd be cool to be up there, but I know that I won't be back up there. There's too many things broken on me. I wouldn't look right. I will do the best that I can with my physique, but he is a perfect canvas. It's like if you got the most ideal canvas and you were like, just paint whatever you want. That's the way that I'm looking at it with him. And now that you know who he is, the rest of these videos, I'm gonna really enjoy us together with you guys showing the progress. So This is the slight changes that I'm making to his diet, basically carbs. We're gonna go shop, and then we're gonna show you the supplements that he used. And that will be eating to be a freak, I guess, or eating to be an Austin, that I now know is his name. It's hilarious.
All I know is we need to eat. It's been too long.
Okay. All right, so we're inside Publix, and video team thinks that this is not allowed, which it probably isn't. Like I said, I have done a video like this before. We don't want to get thrown out, so I'm going to be quick. Right now, he's getting some apples because I've added some fruit into his diet. This is where all the actual produce and vegetables are, which he's not eating right now, and I'm not going to force him to because he's going to have to and want to eat it when he is dieting. I'll be honest, when I was in my off season, when I was younger and I was bulking up, I didn't really eat too many vegetables either. And if bodybuilders out there are all telling you that they eat the same amount of greens year round, they're lying. Some of them will, but most of them are not. They kind of save that for when they're dieting and they're hungrier. When you're hungry, you don't care about eating broccoli and lettuce, you just want that substance. When you're full from eating all the oats and rice and everything else, having some broccoli after is the last thing that's on your mind. So what I'm going to try to do is take you guys through like what normal shopping for somebody this size would be. Get myself 2 gallons of water. We're going to try to not get kicked out. All right, so guys, we're in the cereal section. This is key because I have a lot of my people eating cream of rice and no one can ever find cream of rice. It's a cereal. So you come up to the cereal section, right? And it's not here. This is where people usually go into panic mode. I always tell people, if it is not in the cereal section, Trevor, do you know where it'll be? It is in the cereal section, but if it's not in the cereal section, do you know where cream of rice will be if it's not in the cereal section? This is trivia.
Then it'll be in the rice section.
Possibly. It'll be in the baby food section. That's what they start babies on.
Do that.
It's gluten-free. It's very easy for the baby to digest, so it'll be like hot cereal in the baby food section. So don't freak out if it's not in your cereal section. Now, you can eat all of this stuff, guys. Like if you're trying to get these carbs in, you're bulking, and you just want to get easy to digest carbs, cream of grease, cream of grease, I put them both together. Cream of rice, cream of wheat, instant oatmeals. This is efficiency. So we're focused on efficiency right now. Now, people will always argue, oh, the glycemic index of rolled oats and old-fashioned oats is better than quick oats, and it's slightly different, yeah. But if you're pressed for time, you want to get an easy measurement where you're taking 2 packs of that out, or the grits like he does. This is all right here. You really can't go wrong with any of this stuff. You're going to digest it differently depending on your body's natural, food allergies and things like that. But for the most part, all this stuff can be subbed in. You want to go super, super clean. Kashi cereals, I used to crush this stuff. If you do 2 cups of this, it's almost 100 grams of carbs. And this is all good, clean, bulking foods that should digest really well. Also, he has a fancy one that he uses. I don't know if they have it here.
They don't. I can't show you.
Now, I used to have a lot more time on my hands, so instead of doing like the kashi or the goins and things like that, I would actually make home fries every morning. So I would have boiled red potatoes, and I would slice them up, and I'd put them in a pan, I'd cook them up, and that was just, I liked eating steak and eggs in the morning, and I had my home fries with them. Now with my life now, there's no way I would ever have time for that. So what I do is either I do like an instant oat on my carb days like him. You guys know I'm a big keto guy, but I've cycled off that for the time. And sometimes I'll do those microwavable rices that we're gonna show you guys also. Now this stuff, the fancy cereals, is gonna be way more expensive. If you wanna go as cheap as you can go, good old Publix brand, always gonna be cheaper. It's the same thing. Quick Oats, no flavoring, nothing in this. This is the cheapest way to go, and it lasts a while too. So half a cup is 25 grams of carbs, 26, excuse me, and there's 13 servings in here. So if you're doing 2 of those, this is a week's worth right here for $2. So you got a week's worth of breakfast right there for $2. Can't beat that. $2 for a whole week. Don't tell me that it's too expensive. The carbs are the cheap part.
Okay, Mr. Quaker, Simply Granola. I've never had the vanilla one, but I usually get this honey one, which I guess actually has vanilla in it too. I never even looked. But this has 40 grams of carbs and a half a cup, or 55 grams. So I usually have like a cup and a half, almost 120 grams of carbs, and it tastes pretty good. And it's got 15 grams of protein in it.
My all-time favorite right here. CTC.
No, I get Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch is good. Lucky Charms is good.
Yep.
By the way, when you're off season and you're getting your calories in, all this stuff's fine. It's just refined sugars and stuff like that. That if you're counting your macros, you can make them fit. We don't count our macros. We're like in bodybuilding terms, we're like how Fabulous was with his like price tags. I'm not gonna look at that shit. All right, guys, these are the microwavable Uncle Ben's rice that we were talking about. I push these. A lot of my friends in the industry use these. I like, my favorite one is there's a 4 cheese one that is ridiculous. Where is it? Maybe I took them all, but the one that he eats is Jasmine Rice, which is this one. And the Jasmine Rice, so if you eat this whole package, which is easy to eat this package, I could eat 2 of these, no problem. So if you eat, there's 2 servings in here, and that's 104 grams of carbs. So if I was trying to really, really push him as far as like getting calories in and stuff, really hardcore glycogen loading him, he can eat 2 of these no problem. I mean, it's really not a lot. It goes in the microwave for 90 seconds, mix it with your fish, your rice, your chicken, whatever. Easy, easy meals. It's very convenient. I travel with these. I throw them on the floor. Again.
And these
are 3 for $5, all right? So you're breaking that down, that's less than $2 per meal. So a little more pricey than the other stuff. Now, if you want to go super cheap, guys, get yourself a freaking giant bag of rice. Get yourself a rice cooker and make a bunch in advance. If you have the time to do it, by all means do it. Was there a time in my life when I was doing that? Yes. I also would get 3 boxes of instant rice and do that. Now, again, it's all about efficiency. In the grand scheme of things, these numbers really don't make that big of a difference. Again, the carbs are going to be the inexpensive thing. If you're not somebody that likes making rice or have the time to do it, get the microwave.
Also, this rice is like covered in, I don't know, some type of chemical wax or something, but you barely have to chew it. You can just like swallow the whole bag. And regular rice I choke on all the time, so that's another.
These are very good.
Plus.
It's funny, the one that I eat is in here. I have tons of them in my fridge, but Basmati, Jasmine.
It seems like the amount of carbs that you get out of this amount of rice.
It doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right. Like you eat way more, but
the
most size I've ever put on was eating this rice.
To me, I feel like Ben looks very trusting. You trust him, right? He says there's 100 grams of carbs in here. I'm going to believe him. And he's been around a while.
Yeah. Plus, he's my uncle.
All right, guys, so we're standing here in what would be considered the butcher is here, the finisher's down here, and then this is all your stuff that's one time ready. All grocery stores, not just Publix, although I do love Publix the most, has an organic section. Publix is the green white stuff. Now here's the thing that everybody should know. When you're going the organic route, like if you're going beef, if you're going grass-fed, you're going to pay a lot more. If you're a young guy and you're trying to budget a certain way, don't go with all organic stuff. Is it better for you on paper? Yes, because there's no pesticides, there's no hormones given to the meats, but my rationale is you're putting a lot of other hormones in your body already anyway. What is it going to matter if you're eating something that had hormones in it as well? Down the road, I hate saying this to people, but we're all going to get a cancer the longer that we live. It's just a matter of where you're going to get it from. I mean, look at the statistics. That's life. You can do as many things as you can. I do a lot of preventive things, but I also do things that aren't preventive. So if you want to be as preventive as possible in any way, then yes, you're going to want to go organic. You can prepare it to pay like double and sometimes even triple what you wouldn't be paying. Now, his main food sources are poultry and beef. Now, you can follow around sales in different stores to where you can get chicken breasts on sale. You can go to like restaurant depots and get large amounts of chicken breasts on sale. That's what I always tell people to do. If you're going to be eating that much chicken breast, just freeze it. I cook a bunch in advance when I cook. I don't really eat much chicken anymore. I eat ground turkey and mostly fish. He is not eating any fish right now. I will most likely have him on a lot of fish later. Do you feel like you have any digestion issues with like any of the foods that you're eating?
Not really. Not with any of the meats.
So that's ideal, because I have certain people that, myself, I'm allergic to chicken, sadly. So like if I eat a chicken breast, I get really, really bloated. It doesn't happen from turkey. I know this from food allergy tests and also from paying attention. He is in a good spot where nothing bothers him. And part of that I also think is age. As you get older, you start noticing certain things that you can't digest the same way. So it's very simple. He can just buy, if he wants to eat an actual steak at night, he goes New York strip, which is sort of like in the middle to higher side as priced. You want to go really inexpensive, you can get eye round, top round cuts. You can have them slice you know, flank steak, strip steak, things like that. But as long as you cook them rare, they'll be pretty tolerable. Typically, guys, the leaner and cheaper cuts of meat are not going to taste good. Fat equals flavor. If you want a lot of flavor, you're going to eat a ribeye. You know, a filet mignon is going to have a lot of flavor in it, but you're going to pay a lot more money, and you're going to have to watch out for all that excess fat as well. And if you're going for cost efficiency and taste, you can't really go wrong with a New York strip. Not the most tender, not the most flavorful, but it's pretty tender and pretty flavorful. You want to spend a little bit more money, ribeye. Anything with the bone in is also going to taste better. You're going to cook a little differently. But for him, ground beef, New York strips, and just chicken breasts all day long, you could really, at this point, when you're off season, cycle them in and out. And I wanted to make sure that I made a good point about the organic stuff, the price difference. All right, I'm in the frozen food section here, and just about nowadays, it was much harder when I was younger finding these, but pretty much every grocery store now has Ezekiel muffins. I like the cinnamon raisin. These are freaking awesome. And this is, so Ezekiel is made from a bunch of different sprouted grains together. So you're getting a blend of, I believe, yeah, 6, no, maybe even 8. From lentils to quinoa, there's all these different things that they blend into these. So you're getting a nice variety of good complex carbs. And these are delicious. So if you want to give yourself like a treat in the morning that's not going to make you feel guilty, they make English muffins in every flavor. Vans makes waffles and all this stuff. The reason that it's in this frozen section is because all the organic stuff has nothing to keep it on the shelf. So it'll go bad in less than a week if you leave it out. It has to be kept in the freezer. Keep in the freezer, good to go. All right, guys, so we are in what we consider the milk and milk products section. Now, so I'm a huge almond milk advocate. I cannot really process regular milk anymore. A little bit I can, but I really, really like pasture milk. So you're gonna always want to get the unsweetened. Now, if you're somebody like Dane who at this point just needs the excess calories, get the sweetened. It's not that big of a deal. The sweetened is gonna be like 2 or 3 times the calories, but we're talking very, very low calories. So there's only 25 calories in a serving of this, which is 8 ounces. So you can, 8 ounces is more than you would ever have in a bowl of cereal, unless you're eating it out of like a giant soup bowl, which you're eating as much as him, maybe you are. It's very creamy, great taste. And it's light. It's not going to sit in you the way that milk will. You can't go wrong with almond milk or cashew milk. Now, if you want something that tastes a little bit more like milk than the almond breezes, they actually have the lactate milk, which he eats. And that's just lactose-free milk. I really don't think that as an adult, there's any point of you having like whole milk anymore. Is it delicious with cookies? Yes.
Pre-workout, get the Krispy Kreme.
You have to microwave them for 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Do you know they have ones with Nutella in the middle now?
Really?
Yeah, they got one with raspberry in the middle.
I've had the raspberries, but not the Nutella ones.
They're actually glazed donuts with injected with Nutella around in a circle.
Really?
Circular.
Might seem like a small factor, but it's actually a pretty big factor. If you're only eating a certain amount of whole eggs, let's say you're eating 2, maybe you're eating 4 like him, I always think that you should go as far as quality when it comes to the eggs. Let me explain why. See, the egg with the best eggs. This is very important because the quality of the egg is that much greater. So these are vegetarian fed eggs. So they're not eating crap, they're not eating like poop and other bullshit that like these mass produced places put in the eggs. So you're getting a much better quality source of fats from the yolks. Why that is a factor? Because those good fats do a number of things, from helping with your cholesterol to even regulating your hormone levels. Testosterone, you need to have these good cholesterol levels in your body, and you can actually do a lot with a small amount of good quality egg yolks from the egg with fat. So I always tell people, if you don't have a few whole eggs, spring a little bit extra money, get the egg yolks best, it's worth it. Now, if you're doing massive amount of whites, just get yourself egg whites. Get yourself some liquid egg whites, measure it out. If you love eating eggs in the morning, you're gonna pay a little more doing that. Now, if you wanna go the most inexpensive way, and you also have a lot of time, you can get big amounts of regular cheap eggs and just separate the whites. It's far less important with the white because the yolk is where the actual good fats and stuff are. So if you're just taking whites and you wanna crack those whites out and separate the yolks and throw the egg by all means, if it's efficiency thing, just pay a little more money and just go for the whites. All right, guys, so water, we all drink lots and lots of water. The simplest, most obviously inexpensive way to do it is just get yourself a gallon of spring water. These are not even gonna be $1. Now, if you wanna get fancy, you don't care about money, they have a lot of these alkaline waters now, or waters that are first distilled but then purified. So you don't never want regular distilled water. So they will have it here.
Right here.
Right. So regular distilled water, they actually take the good stuff of the water out. You're saying, what good stuff is there in water? Well, water has natural minerals and things in it that your body needs for proper muscle function, even for your heart. So when you take that out of the water and you're just drinking distilled water, you'll actually dehydrate yourself even more. You might think, oh, I'll just keep drinking more water, and you're actually going to be speeding the process up. I've seen people wreck their physiques in a couple days before a show because they've switched from drinking the water that they always drink that's got minerals and electrolytes and everything else in it to switching over to distilled water. Huge mistake. Now these waters are taking it to a whole nother level. They're actually adding the minerals and electrolytes in, so there's a higher level. And if you really want to go all out, somebody like Evan Santipani, who a lot of you guys will know from the industry, he actually has a water purifier with, I believe he has like copper fixtures and whatnot to keep his water alkaline at all times. And there is a study that suggests that will help fight free radicals and do a number of great things for your body. Are they ridiculously expensive to get put in? No. But if you're a young guy, you know, it's probably not something that's within reason for you. It's also probably not within reason for you to be spending all your money on fancy Kim Kardashian waters anyway. Can I say her name without getting in trouble or no? I don't know.
Probably
guess we'll find out. We love her. I love her. Who doesn't love her? Shout out to Kanye too while I'm at it. Cheapest way to go. If you're off season and you're drinking more than a gallon a day, good for you. I don't drink more than a gallon a day. If you're breaking it down, you want to do dollars and cents, that's $1 a day. It's $7 for all your water for the week. Well, we didn't get kicked out, which is good. We're pretty sneaky and pretty quick about it. We also didn't really buy anything. Although I did want to get some gallons while I was here. For me, if I have a gallon, it just tells me like this is how much more you should try to drink today. When you're running around and you're super busy, it's easy to not drink enough water. And makes a big difference. It really does as far as muscle recovery, soreness. Of course, it helps with your digestive system. So I think if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, you're doing awesome. Most days I don't get a gallon. If I'm doing something to manipulate my body's water, like pre-contest, I'll increase my water. For now, I think that if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, that's plenty. I got guys that tell me they drink 2-3 gallons a day, you're insane. And these are the same people that are peeing every 20 minutes. They're also usually the people that are complaining about peeing all night. Well, what do you think is going to happen if you're taking in that much water? It's just going to all come right out. So nobody needs that much water. Nobody. We are done shopping. We've gone over his meal planning, and now we're just going to stop at the office. He wanted to come in and get some subs, and we'll show you the subs that he does use. We're going to be real honest about it. There's stuff that he's not going to use. There's stuff that he's not ever going to use, and that's okay. We make stuff for everybody. But there is some stuff that he's going to use all year round, and specifically right now. We're going to give you a little peek into that, and that'll be eating, shopping, and supplementation to be the free. All right, so we're here in the direct-to-consumer portion of the warehouse. Shipping just got done, so we're not even screwing them up. As you can see, bunches of packages there. They just dragged that guy over there, those bags over there. That's all going out today. That's all your guys' stuff. Most of that is from the athlete sale and whatnot that we had the past 24 hours. Lots of glycolog, lots of recomp to us, of course. But I'm going to talk about the specific stuff that Dane, aka the Freak, has been using. His bread and butter really is very simple products. Stuff that everybody can use. Isolation and Formula 19. These are two things that I swore by, not the actual Blackstone Labs versions of, but what is in these. I used pure whey isolate my whole career. I always preached whey isolate, and that's why when we came out with a protein, we came out with the isolate first. Later on, we came out with the blend, which I truly don't use. Is it okay to use? Sure. It's just an inferior form of the protein, and in my opinion, you should go when you're going to be adding in something like that, a supplement. You should go for the best, and that's a pure isolate. You'll find that you don't need as much as you think. 1 scoop of this will be more beneficial for you than 2 scoops of that. And then, of course, the Formula 19. I have been using 4 scoops of this pre and post workout. So it's flying through this fast. Fortunately, it gets the hook up here.
Yeah, I think it lasts me 4 days doing 4 scoops.
I'm thinking about doing a bigger size for the big guys out there that are using numerous scoops. Most of you are good on 2 scoops. Ladies, 1 scoop is more than enough, so it'll last you obviously a lot longer. At Blackstone, I try to always do everything, and some people don't like this, but I do everything in women's dosages for the most part. So that way, girls don't have to like measure things specifically or break open capsules. Now guys, are you gonna have to take a couple more capsules? Yes, you are, but everything's dosed out in conservative doses so that women can always use the products as well, with exception to the pro hormones, which I don't recommend. Now, Dane, not using Eradicate, not using PCT, gear support, year round. Anybody that works with me or is a part of this company, I always want them using this product year round. Brute Force, not using it, probably never will either. Same thing with that normal. Chosen One will have its place here and there with what he's doing. Definitely doesn't need fat burners. The Growth is another one that I have all my people take year round. Take this before bed. The EpiCat and the Anagenin won't have his place in a place in what he's doing right now. However, the Orthobolic will. Again, year round. So the stuff that I really push for myself and for you know, my friends and the people that I work closely with is all going to be the same. So this is the same stuff that I also take. Again, not using any fat burners, so stay away from those. This is going to be the biggest addition to what he's doing, and he has not taken this yet. I'm very interested in seeing what's happening to him. I'm also interested in seeing what happens to myself, because I just stopped this on Friday. And through the process of this crash, aggressive get back in shape diet thing that I've done, I've held on to way more weight than I expected, probably like a good 7, 8, maybe even 10 pounds if we went and got an actual true body fat test on what I should be right now. And the only thing that I could think of that I'm doing different than what I would have done in the past is the recomp. I talked to a few other people that said that it really held their weight on as their physiques improved. And Salvina is somebody I really noticed when she stopped taking recomp and anagenin. Over a period of about 3 or 4 weeks, she lost 10 pounds. And she says she's eating the same. She believed that recomp was holding weight on her. So in the next week to 2 weeks, what I really want to see is if I look worse. If the scale goes down, I know psychologically I'll be happy because I just want to be lighter. But if I look worse, then that'll be really telling on how good this product is. So I'm adding it in to his arsenal of Super Blackstone supplies. Also, this is going to be something that you always see me pushing as well. And got to give the credit to Gorilla Chemist for this one. I always say this is the most brilliant thing he's ever done. This was the first ever glucose disposal agent to hit the supplement industry. Of course, Blackstone Labs did it first. Are there imposters? Yeah, they're not as good as ours. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because we're Blackstone, but I've seen the ingredients. Some people have tried to rip us off and change things a little bit, but this is the formula that has the actual medical testing on it. No one's done that. I participated in the study. We have those results. It's really cool what it actually does. And this is mimicking insulin. So all these huge bodybuilders that are getting huge taking insulin now, they're taking fast-acting insulin like Humalog and Novolog, not Humulin R, which is crap. Well, unless you're diabetic. This is going to mimic that action. So on my refeed days, I actually take this with every single carb meal. And then I go back to my low carb days and I don't take it at all. So he's going to be using this 3 to 4 times a day. He's going to be using it pre-workout with all the Formula 19, post-workout with all the Formula 19, and that is what I think is the most efficient way to do it. But I'm also going to be having him do it definitely at breakfast, and depending on how his weight's coming on, probably another meal as well. And then on his off days, this part of his diet gets removed. Okay, so he'll probably have an extra cheat meal on those days, perhaps be having it with a cheat meal as well. Do you use a pre-workout?
Yes, I use the Dust Extreme, which you don't have anymore.
We don't have any Dust Extreme right now, sadly.
I use the Dust V2 on most other days. I use the Extreme on like leg days and shit.
So we can talk about Extreme for a minute. I mean, look, everybody asks me every day, when's Extreme come back? When's Extreme coming back? It will come back no matter what, but it may be a very different formula. I have a backup formula with Senegali that is a new ingredient that's very, very good. And if we don't bring back DMAA, nobody else is going to have it either. It's just a matter of what happens in the ruling. We're waiting to see it. My partner has fought as hard as anyone could fight, and you know, I hope he wins. You know, and if he wins, then we win. And if he doesn't win, we've had it gone for a while anyway, guys. We'll just keep coming out with the next best things. And that's the name of the game in this industry. You know, in the 90s, we had ephedrine that was amazing, and it was in the original, you know, hydroxycuts and ripped fuels and Zenderins, all those awesome products, and then they had to take the ephedrine out. And there was a lull for a while until maybe like the mid-2000s when DMA came out, and the USP Labs really crushed it when they put out the original Jacked. Everyone took that product, everyone, and that's what gave DMA the big name. And now, you know, if the FDA wants to remove that, then the next best thing will come, and that's evolution in the supplement world. So I always tell people, don't rely on the strongest pre-workout that is, because then you can't train without it. Now, for me personally, Dust is even too strong for me. I use regular Hype, 2 scoops. And I like to have coffee. If I don't have coffee, I have a product called Crit, which you guys have seen me post a lot, my friend's company. I was involved in formulating it. It's a nootropic blend. It won't make you jittery and crazy. It does work. And it's enough where with the Hype, I get good pumps. Now, a lot of people go straight to Hype Extreme. And they're like, oh, it's Extreme. It must be better because Dust Extreme is better. That, I will admit, was a marketing mistake on behalf of Blackstone Labs, because once I came out with Dust Extreme, I was like, well, I need to come out with a Hype Extreme. We could not find a formula that was good as the original. Sometimes you just nail it on the original. And I had Gorilla Chemist come out with formula after formula after formula, and I kept telling him it's not as good. It's not as good. And he was like, you're just saying that because it's yours.
I mix them. The original one's definitely better, but I mix them.
So what I tell people, they're so different that you can by all means mix them. If you're a 2-scooper like me, then go 1 scoop of each. They're very different. Now, I will say that there isn't a lot of science on what I'm about to say yet, so chalk it up as bro science, as most of bodybuilding is anyway. The Hype Extreme, the ingredients in Hype Extreme, particularly the beetroot extract, work better, in my opinion, with a higher carbohydrate diet. So if you're eating a ketogenic diet, you will fare very well from the straight vasodilators. You will fare very well no matter what time of day it is. You will get good pumps on it. People are like, oh, you can't get a good pump on keto. You will with that. And I've been on and off with keto for many, many, many years. So I like to consider myself, pretty knowledgeable when it comes to keto. Another thing that you can use all year round is your aminos. You can never get enough aminos. I always tell people, if you're somebody that carries around a gallon, just dump a couple scoops of that in your gallon just so you're getting it all day long. Passion fruit is probably our most popular flavor right now. I like pina colada the most. Some people get scared away because it's called pina colada. It's kind of more of a pineapple-y than everything else. And then we have a fruit punch. We are going to be loaded back up with all the flavors of dust very soon, possibly by the time this video is out. Something you won't see him doing, but I'm doing, is the Trojan horse. This is stimulant-free fat burning. So you won't see me using a stimulant-based fat burner, not at this stage in life. I'm too high strung, but I take this before bed, and I have another one sometime like late morning, midday. And this is a really, really cool product. Again, I will give him the credit always. This is a Gorilla Chemist product. Did a hell of a job with this. Apex Male is something that I have all my guys use when they come off. So whether they're running an aggressive anabolic cycle, whether they're running the pro hormones, when you're done, yes, we have PCT products, but this is your natural testosterone booster, makes a big difference. Also, I have guys that are in their 40s, even their early 50s, that don't want to get HRT. They've told me, I don't want to take a shot, I don't want to do it. No experience with the creams. I say try our Apex Male, and they've gained a couple hundred points on their blood work with these. I always tell them, post your blood work so people can see. But this is something you can take all year round as well. Does it have a place if you're running, testosterone, cypionate, things like that? No, it doesn't. But if you're pushing the natty route, that is the way to go. And like I said, if he wants to have the 3 ways, he can, but keeping it very basic. So this is stuff that I feel anybody, whether you're working with Blackstone Labs, whether you're working with another company or not, these are products that everybody should take. This is your total organ care, okay? You gotta take care of your insides. This is your joint support. I'll tell you right now, I've gotten lazy with this for only about 5 days, and my elbows feel like shit right now.
For sure. I missed that for a few days, my knees will kill me.
It's this, and I'll say his name for the 3rd time. This is a Gorilla Chemist product. He did some very, very cool stuff while he was here. One of my first products, Growth, because I have such issues with sleeping. I take this every night, and these are gonna be the secret weapons for him. These are products that no one else has that separates Blackstone Labs like we always do, that people rave about both of these products. And so now that he's adding this stuff in, I think that it should help him. He's by no means a hard gainer, because look how big he is, but in a way he kind of is a hard gainer because he has to eat so much to grow. So the supplements are gonna be very important. And I hate when people are like, oh, don't worry about those snake oils, all you have to do is eat. Look guys, if it were that simple, you could just buy the best made car and go run it in any race and win every time, but that's not the case. You gotta put in racing fuel, you gotta change the tires to specific track tires, all these different calibrations and things that are made for the specific conditions of the track. You take that fine built machine and you perfect it, and that's what we do with the supplementation. So when you're using Blackstone Labs products, you're not using stuff that you can go get in Vitamin Shop or at Publix. This is your advanced stuff, but if you are looking to treat your body the best, then you should be getting in on this stuff. And I always like to push the stuff that everyone can take. Won't see me taking this stuff. I've experimented with it, yes, and I can tell you exactly how to use it, but it doesn't really have a role in my life. I am on HRT, so I'm not going to mess with my HRT for something that's realistically not going to be quite as strong. If I was off the HRT, which I have done before, I've done our Apex Male, I've done our PCT, but I don't have to worry about that anytime soon, and he's just worrying about getting big, and this is the stuff that he's going to add in.
Pretty much, that's the goal for now.
Basic, lots of food, a good protein supplement, very good carb supplement. I think it's far better than cyclic dextrin. Some people argue me on that. I don't care. If I thought cyclic dextrin was that good, I'd be selling it here. Sold it with my old company, never liked it. Experimented with it in many, many ways. Some people think it's better, it's personal preference. Not everybody's digestive system is the same. And that's that. That is Project Freak Volume whatever we're on now.
9.
What do you want to do in the next video?
What have we done? We've lifted.
We've done every body part.
Eaten now. I mean, I could just get a massage and you guys can videotape that.
We'll see. You guys tell us what you want to see. What else do you want to learn about and taking your physique to that next level?
Maybe come to work.
I think we should see him go to work because he has a real job, and no offense to all my bodybuilder friends out there, a lot of bodybuilders don't have real jobs. And this is also no disrespect to all you personal trainers out there as well, because I was also a personal trainer for a long time. He's a general contractor, so he goes and works outside, on site, busting his butt all day. So there's no excuses for anybody, whether you are a doctor or you are a teacher or you're in construction or you're a personal trainer. You can bodybuild. You just have to figure out what works for your schedule.
Just cook the meals and bring them with you. Eat them cold if you have to.
If you want anything bad enough in life, you'll figure out how to get it done.
Yep.
And that's that. So for Dane, Austin, the Freak, you know who I am. Peace out, bye.
Peace out.